Zara Khatri wiped the sweat from her brow as she arranged delicate canapes on silver platters. The kitchen of tech billionaire Arjun Mehta's mansion buzzed with activity as staff prepared for his annual innovation gala. Tonight, Silicon Valley's elite would gather to network and celebrate technological breakthroughs, oblivious to the workers who made it all possible. "Mom, can I help?" Maya asked, her bright eyes watching from a corner stool where Zara had instructed her to stay. "No, sweetie. Just stay put." Zara sighed, glancing at her watch. When her babysitter canceled last minute, she'd had no choice but to bring her 10-year-old daughter. One missed paycheck could mean a late rent payment on their tiny apartment. Maya nodded, turning her attention to a sketchbook. Her purple headband held back thick black hair that matched her mother's. Unlike the other caterers who wore all black, Zara had added a purple scarf to her uniform, a small rebellion against conformity that Maya had always admired. "Final checks, everyone. Guests arrive in 20 minutes, announced the head caterer. "And Zara, make sure your daughter stays out of sight. Mr. Mehta doesn't appreciate surprises." Zara nodded, feeling a familiar knot in her stomach at the mention of Arjun Mehta. She had never told Maya who her father was, only that he was someone who'd once been kind but whose life had gone in a different direction. The truth was more complicated. 11 years ago, Arjun had been just another struggling entrepreneur with dreams bigger than his bank account. Their brief romance had bloomed during a tech conference where Zara had worked as a hospitality coordinator. When she discovered her pregnancy weeks later, his number was disconnected, his socials scrubbed clean. She later learned he had secured major funding and vanished into a world of private jets and exclusive addresses. "Maya, I need to serve. Please promise you'll stay here," Zara pleaded, kneeling to eye level with her daughter. "I promise," Maya replied, already distracted by her drawing. The gala was in full swing when disaster struck. Zara was refilling champagne flutes when she noticed Maya was no longer on her stool. Panic seized her chest as she scanned the kitchen. Nothing. Setting down her tray, Zara slipped into the main hall, eyes desperately searching the crowd. Then she saw her, standing directly in front of Arjun Mehta himself. Even from across the room, the resemblance was striking. The same strong jawline, the same deep-set eyes. Arjun was mid-conversation with investors when he noticed the child staring at him. He paused, perhaps struck by something familiar in her face. "Maya," Zara called, pushing through guests. But it was too late. Maya pulled a crumpled photo from her pocket. A photo Zara thought was safely hidden at home, of a younger Arjun with his arm around Zara. "Are you my father?" Maya asked, her voice cutting through the ambient chatter. The room fell silent. Champagne glasses froze midway to lips. All eyes turned to the powerful tech mogul and the small girl before him. Arjun's face hardened as he examined the photo. Recognition flickered in his eyes when they met Zara's, followed quickly by cold fury. "I don't know who put you up to this," he said to Maya, "but this is inappropriate and tasteless." He turned to his security team. "Please remove them both." As strong hands guided them toward the exit, Maya's voice rang out once more, breaking Zara's heart. "Father, please. I've waited so long to meet you." The doors closed behind them, and they stood alone in the cool night air, Maya's sobs the only sound breaking the silence. Arjun Mehta couldn't sleep that night. The girl's face haunted him, those eyes so unnervingly like his own. He paced his penthouse, the city lights of San Francisco glittering below. The photograph she'd shown him lay on his desk, retrieved from security. "This is absurd," he muttered, pouring himself a third whiskey. Yet something nagged at him. The timing aligned with his relationship with Zara. Before Tech Fusion became a billion-dollar company, before he became someone who mattered. His phone buzzed with a message from Natasha, his fiancée and chief operating officer. "Crisis contained. The caterer won't be working any Silicon Valley events again." Arjun frowned. Natasha's efficiency had built their empire, but sometimes her methods felt cold. He found himself opening his laptop, typing Zara Khatri into the search bar. Across town, Zara held Maya as she cried herself to sleep. "Why didn't he want to see me?" Maya whispered, her small fingers clutching her mother's. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes," Zara answered, smoothing Maya's hair. "But never doubt that you are loved." When Maya finally drifted off, Zara checked her phone. 3 catering companies had already canceled her contracts. Natasha Chen's handiwork, no doubt. The woman had been Arjun's gatekeeper for a decade, and Zara remembered her all too well. 11 years ago, When Zara discovered her pregnancy, she had gone to Arjun's new office, only to find Natasha instead. "He's in meetings all day," Natasha had said, offering her practiced smile. "But I'll make sure he gets your message." Days became weeks. Calls went unanswered. Emails bounced back. When Zara finally managed to reach Arjun's assistant again, Natasha's voice was ice. "Mr. Mehta has asked not to be contacted. He's aware of your situation and isn't interested. There's a check waiting if you'd like to handle this discreetly." Zara had hung up, refusing to believe Arjun would be so callous. But as his company grew, as she spotted him in tech magazines with models and executives, doubt crept in. Eventually, she stopped trying. The next morning, Arjun sat in his private office examining old photos his assistant had dug up from archive backups. There he was, 11 years younger, arm around Zara at a tech conference after-party. He remembered her laugh, how she'd seen potential in him when he was nobody, how she'd encouraged his dreams. "You're going to change the world," she'd said, and he'd believed her. He clicked further, finding email records. His brow furrowed as he found dozens of messages from Zara in the months after they'd parted ways, all marked "handled" in Natasha's neat notation, none forwarded to him. "What the hell?" he murmured. The door opened and Natasha entered, immaculate in her designer suit. "The board is waiting," she reminded him, then noticed the screen. Something flashed across her face, concern, perhaps fear. "Why are you looking at old emails?" she asked, voice carefully neutral. "That girl last night," Arjun said slowly. "She had my eyes, Natasha. My mother's dimple." He turned the screen toward her, and apparently her mother tried to contact me dozens of times 11 years ago. Natasha's composure slipped for just a moment. "You were securing Series A funding. We couldn't afford distractions or scandals. Arjun's voice hardened. "You made this decision for me?" "I made many decisions to get us where we are today," Natasha replied, straightening, "including protecting you from opportunists. Now the board is waiting to discuss the Singapore expansion." After she left, Arjun stared at the photo of Zara. He opened his desk drawer and removed a small velvet box containing the engagement ring he planned to give Natasha at their announcement party next week. He turned it in his palm, feeling suddenly uncertain about everything he'd built his life upon. His finger hovered over his assistant's intercom. "Find me Zara Khatri's current address," he said finally, "and cancel my meetings for this afternoon." As his driver navigated toward one of the city's more modest neighborhoods, Arjun rehearsed what he would say. For a man who had given TED Talks to thousands, he had never felt more unprepared. The apartment building was weathered, paint peeling at the corners. He hesitated before pressing the buzzer for Unit 304. Zara's voice came through the intercom, tired and wary. "Yes? It's Arjun Mehta. We need to talk." Zara's hand trembled as she buzzed him in. She quickly straightened the small living room, though there was no disguising the stark difference between her world and his. The couch had a visible repair on one cushion. The coffee table was scratched from Maya's art projects. The knock came 3 precise taps. When she opened the door, Arjun stood there in a tailored suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. His presence seemed to shrink the apartment. "May I come in?" he asked, more subdued than at the gala. Zara stepped aside wordlessly. He entered, taking in the modest surroundings. His eyes lingered on Maya's school photos arranged carefully on a side table, documenting years he'd missed. "Why are you here?" Zara asked, arms crossed protectively over her chest. "I found your emails," he said. "The ones from 11 years ago." "I never saw them." Zara's laugh was bitter. "Convenient excuse." "It's not an excuse," Arjun said, pulling out his phone to show her the email archive. Natasha filtered them. "Handled them," her words. "And you never questioned why I disappeared?" Zara's voice rose. "After everything we shared? I was told you took money to stay away," he admitted, looking ashamed. "I believed it because it was easier." The confession hung between them, raw and honest. "Money?" Zara's eyes flashed. "I refused her check. I would never sell my child's birthright." "Our child," Arjun corrected quietly. The words landed like a physical blow. After years of carrying the burden alone, hearing him acknowledge Maya shook something loose in Zara. "You don't get to claim her now," she said, tears threatening. "Where were you when she had pneumonia at 3? When she cried asking why other kids had fathers? When I worked double shifts to afford her school supplies, Arjun stepped closer. I want a DNA test. Get out, Zara whispered. Not to deny her, he clarified quickly. To legally establish my paternity, so I can support her properly. We don't need your money, Zara said, though her bank account told a different story after the canceled contracts. This isn't just about money, Arjun insisted. She's my daughter. I have rights. Zara's voice cracked. You forfeited those years ago. I didn't know. He shouted, frustration breaking his composed facade. The door opened suddenly. Maya stood there in her school uniform, backpack clutched to her chest, eyes wide as she looked between them. Maya, Zara breathed, trying to compose herself. You're home early. Half day, Maya whispered, gaze fixed on Arjun. Why are you yelling at my mom? Arjun knelt down to her level, his expression softening. I'm sorry if I scared you. Maya studied him cautiously. Are you really my father? The directness of her question caught him off guard. He looked to Zara, who nodded almost imperceptibly. I believe I am, he answered honestly, but I haven't been a father to you and I'm sorry for that. Maya approached slowly, examining his face with analytical precision. You have my eyes, she observed. And this. She touched the cleft in her chin, then gestured to his. You're very observant, Arjun said, smiling despite the tension. Mom says I get that from you. Zara made a small involuntary sound. She told Maya only positive things about her unknown father, his intelligence, his determination, his kindness before ambition changed him. Maya, please go to your room while we finish talking, Zara said gently. Maya hesitated, reluctant to leave now that her father had materialized after years of wondering. I'll come back, Arjun promised, meeting her eyes, if that's okay with your mother. After Maya disappeared down the hallway, Zara sank onto the couch. You can't just walk in and out of her life. She's not a quarterly project you can invest in when convenient. I want to be part of her life, Arjun said, remaining standing. I've missed 10 years. I don't want to miss any more. And Natasha, your company, your image? Where do we fit into all that? Before he could answer, his phone buzzed persistently. Natasha's name flashed on the screen. Your keeper is calling, Zara said bitterly. Arjun silenced the phone. Things with Natasha are complicated now. Life is complicated, Zara replied. That's no excuse for abandoning people. Arjun looked at her directly. I never abandoned you intentionally, but I did fail you both by not looking harder, by accepting the easy narrative. I want to make it right. Some things can't be fixed with money or good intentions. Arjun, then let me try with time and effort instead, he said, reaching for her hand. She pulled away, but her resistance was weakening. She was tired of fighting alone. One step at a time, she conceded. Maya deserves to know her father. But I'm warning you, if you disappoint her, if you walk away again, and I won't, he promised. Outside the apartment, neither noticed the sleek car parked across the street, or Natasha watching through tinted windows, her expression calculating as she made a phone call. I need everything you can find on Zara Khatri, she said coldly. Every weakness, every vulnerability. Now. The silver Lamborghini looked absurdly out of place parked outside Zara's apartment building. Children from the neighborhood gathered around it while Arjun unloaded packages from the passenger seat. You can't buy her love, Zara said, watching from the building entrance as he struggled with the unwieldy gifts. I know, Arjun replied, though his actions suggested otherwise. A designer dress, a top-of-the-line laptop, the latest smartphone, but she deserves nice things. Inside, Maya's eyes widened at the bounty. She opened each gift with increasing bewilderment while Zara watched with thinning lips. After they left, Zara sank onto the couch, emotionally exhausted. The past 2 weeks had been a whirlwind. The DNA test confirmed what they already knew. Arjun had established a generous support account that would ensure Maya's education and future. He'd visited 5 times, each occasion marked by extravagant gifts and outings. Her phone buzzed with a text from her friend Layla. You need to see this. Attached was a link to a business gossip blog. Zara's stomach dropped as she read the headline. Tech Fusion CEO's gold digger drama, the calculated decade-long con. The article featured photos of her and Maya, clearly taken without their knowledge. It painted her as a calculating opportunist who had hidden her daughter until the perfect moment to capitalize on Arjun's success. Anonymous sources close to the situation claimed she had refused earlier support in order to build a more lucrative case. Zara felt physically ill. The comment section was worse, filled with scathing judgments from people who knew nothing of her struggles. Her phone rang. "Arjun, have you seen it?" He asked immediately. "Yes. I'm having legal deal with it," he said. "This wasn't me, Zara, I swear." "It has Natasha written all over it," she replied, voice hollow. "Maya doesn't need to know about this. We're having a good day." Zara closed her eyes. "Just bring her home, please." After hanging up, she checked her email to find an interview request from a major tech publication, offering payment for her side of the story. The vultures were circling. Later that evening, after Maya had gone to bed, still chattering about the museum and Arjun's promise to take her to his company's innovation lab, Zara heard a knock at the door. Arjun stood there, his tie loosened, looking drained. "Can I come in?" She stepped aside wordlessly. "I've had the article taken down," he said, "but there will be others." "This is what I was afraid of," Zara said quietly. "Your world destroying ours. Let me fix this," Arjun pleaded. "Come to the engagement party next week, both of you." Zara stared at him. "You're still marrying her? After what she did?" "The engagement party has been postponed," he corrected. "I'm hosting a company event instead. I want to introduce Maya properly on our terms." "As what? Your corporate scandal?" Arjun took her hands. "As my daughter, and you as her mother, whom I respect and—" He hesitated. "And what?" Zara challenged. "And still care for," he finished, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. She pulled away. "Don't. You chose your path a long time ago. What if I'm choosing a different one now?" Their eyes locked, years of missed possibilities hanging between them. He stepped closer, and despite her better judgment, she didn't back away. His hand cupped her cheek and memories flooded back. His touch, his taste, the way they'd once fit together perfectly. "Zara," he whispered, leaning in. Her phone rang, shattering the moment. "Maya's school, Ms. Khatri?" The voice on the line was urgent. "You need to come immediately. Maya's collapsed in class." "Thank you," Maya said politely, though the expensive dress looked out of place next to her modest wardrobe. "I thought we could get ice cream," Arjun suggested. "Maybe visit the tech museum." Maya looked to her mother for permission. Zara nodded, though tension lingered in her shoulders. "I'll have her back by 6, Arjun promised, his hand brushing Zara's as they exchanged Maya's jacket. The brief contact sent warmth up her arm, an unwelcome reminder of what they'd once shared. The hospital corridor felt endless as Zara ran toward the pediatric wing, Arjun close behind. They found Maya in a private room, small and pale against white sheets, an IV in her arm. "Severe dehydration and stress," the doctor explained, glancing between them. "Has she been under unusual pressure lately?" Zara and Arjun exchanged guilty looks. Their drama had affected Maya more than either realized. "I want to stay with her tonight," Zara said, taking Maya's hand. "I'll stay too," Arjun insisted. "There's only one parent chair," the nurse pointed out. "We'll manage," Arjun replied, his tone leaving no room for argument. Through the night they maintained a vigil. Arjun insisted Zara take the recliner while he sat upright in a hard plastic chair, his hand resting near Maya's. In sleep, their daughter looked so small, so vulnerable. "She carries everything inside," Zara whispered around midnight. "Worries about me, about money. Now about measuring up to your expectations." "I never meant to add to her burdens," Arjun said, voice rough with emotion. "We've both failed her," Zara admitted. "Me by struggling alone, you by not questioning Natasha's stories." Their hands found each other across the hospital bed, a bridge forming over their sleeping child. Morning brought Maya's recovery and Natasha's unwelcome arrival. She entered the room with a designer get-well arrangement, her smile tight when she spotted Zara and Arjun's intertwined hands. "I came as soon as I heard," she said smoothly. "How did you know?" Arjun asked, immediately suspicious. "The office tracks your calendar," she replied, setting down the flowers. "We need to discuss the Singapore investors. They won't wait." "They'll have to," Arjun said firmly. Natasha's smile faltered. "May I speak with you privately?" In the hallway, her composure cracked. "You're throwing everything away for some fling from your past? For a child you barely know? That fling is Maya's mother," Arjun replied coldly. And Maya is my daughter. My family. Family? Natasha laughed bitterly. We were going to be family. We built an empire together. An empire built on lies, Arjun countered. You kept my daughter from me for a decade. I protected your interests. No, Arjun said, clarity dawning. You protected yours. He removed the engagement ring from his pocket and placed it in her palm. I appreciate everything you've done for Tech Fusion. But this, he gestured between them, is over. Back in Maya's room, he found Zara helping their daughter eat breakfast. The sight filled him with a warmth no business success had ever matched. The doctor says I can go home today, Maya announced. About that, Arjun said, sitting on the edge of her bed. I've been thinking, your apartment is pretty small and my house has so many empty rooms. Zara tensed. We're not charity cases, Arjun. That's not what I meant, he said quickly. I'm selling the mansion. Both Zara and Maya looked at him in surprise. It's too big, too cold, he explained. I found a nice house in that neighborhood near Maya's school. 3 bedrooms, a garden for your purple flowers, Maya. A real home. For us? Maya asked, hope creeping into her voice. If you want, Arjun said, looking at Zara. Both of you. What about your company? Zara asked skeptically. Tech Fusion will survive with me working reasonable hours, he said. I'm stepping back from day-to-day operations. I've missed enough of life already. Tears filled Zara's eyes. You can't just remake your life overnight. Not overnight, he agreed, taking her hand. But I can start today. I was chasing the wrong kind of fortune, Zara. The real wealth was right in front of me all along, a family. Are we going to be a real family? Maya asked, her eyes bright with hope. Arjun looked to Zara, the question hanging between them. Zara studied him, searching for the man she'd once loved in the successful CEO he'd become. To her surprise, she found him in the gentleness of his touch, in the humility that had replaced his arrogance, in the way he looked at their daughter with pure love. We'll try, she said softly, allowing herself to hope again, one day at a time. 3 months later, Maya dashed through their new home's garden, her purple dress fluttering behind her as she collected flowers. Inside, Zara prepared dinner while Arjun set the table, their domestic rhythm now comfortable and familiar. Maya says purple is the color of royalty, Arjun remarked, slipping his arms around Zara's waist from behind. Zara agreed, leaning back against his chest. Also the color of healing. He turned her gently to face him. And second chances? Those too, she murmured as his lips found hers. Outside, Maya watched them through the window, smiling as she arranged her purple flowers in a pattern that spelled family. In the end, her father's greatest fortune wasn't his billions, but the love he'd almost lost and the courage to reclaim it before it was too late.